negative sides.
Yeah, twice of that positive set of frequencies.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe I'll show you the figure. I just search for the figure, 3 cases. I'll just show it to you just for a moment. Okay, so now let me go to the figure. Let me share the new screen. So you can see this figure where the first case is this. You are transmitting at a rate greater than the channel bandwidth. Okay, the plot of B of f for the case t less than 1 by 2 W. You are transmitting at a rate less than the rate is going to be greater than the channel bandwidth. Channel bandwidth is 10 kilohertz, but you are talking at more than that 20 kilobits per second. You are talking that the channel is having only 10 kilohertz bandwidth. So in that case, you can't design a system. See, this is in no frequency domain. In time domain, uh, there'll be overlaps in time domain, and you can't design a pulse shaping filter or a system without any ISI. ISI will always be there in this case. You are transmitting at a rate which is greater than the actual available channel bandwidth. In the second case, where exactly t is equal to 1 by 2 W, you are transmitting at a rate exactly equal to channel bandwidth. Channel bandwidth is 2 W. Rate of communication is 1 by t. R is 1 by t, or t is equal to 1 by 2 W. Or we can write it as R is equal to 2 W. R is equal to 2 W. R is equal to 2 W means rate is equal to channel bandwidth. So when the communication rate is say 10 kilobits per second is there, and channel bandwidth also 10 kilohertz. At that time, we have only one case where we can see that t is equal to 1 by 2 W or equivalent t 1 by t is equal to 2 W. The replications of x of f separated by 1 by t are shown. You can see that this is replica of this is a replica of this, like that. Separation is there. And in this case, we can have a only one case, that is what we have discussed, zero ISI criteria, and the corresponding pulse is sync pulse. This can have zero ISI at the sampling instant. All other instant, let the ISI be there. Only at the sampling instant, let the ISI go to zero. That is sync pulse which is going to give us the solution. So that's what we said. This is the second condition. Third condition is something like this. You are transmitting at a rate which is less than the channel bandwidth. Transmitting at a rate which is less than the channel bandwidth. That means you can see t is greater than 1 by 2 W. You are transmitting at 10 kilobits per second per hertz. 10 kilobits per second, and channel bandwidth is 20 kilohertz. So at that time, it consists of overlapping replicas of x of f separated by 1 by t. Okay, overlapping pulses are there, separating by 1 by t. And in this case, there exists numerous choice of x of f such that b of f is equal to t. Numerous choices means I can have a raised cosine, I can have another filter, any other pulses I can have except sync. Can have so many pulses to mitigate the effect of ISI. So you can see that a particular pulse spectrum where t is greater than 1 by 2 W case that has a desirable spectral properties have been widely used in practice, which is called raised cosine spectrum. So the third case is basically raised cosine, then square root raised cosine, Dubinary, modified Dubinary, like that. So many cases are possible in third case where we have a figure something like this. But in second case, only one pulse, which was sync pulse, but that has got problems. First case, you will have ISI. Any way you design a system, it will have ISI. But second case, ISI can be mitigated only at one instant, that is at the sampling instant, by using sync pulse. But sync pulse has got problems. Third case, you're transmitting at a rate which is less than the channel bandwidth. You have many cases, many choices of pulses like raised cosine, square root raised cosine, Dubinary, modified Dubinary, all those things. So that effect of IS can be neatly taken care of. So is this clear now? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, so now we'll see That the second case, there was a problem. Problem was the sink was major lobe, it was wider. It's fat actually. So its major lobe width is wider and side lobe decay is slower. So because of this, it will cause a jittering problem. That means if I want to sample exactly at this point, if I miss that sample, other samples would have come in. So that will cause a problem called jitter. So I need to avoid that, and I need to select a. I need to minimize the main lobe of the sink as well as side lobe decay. It has to be more faster. And if I select some pulse, that should have a Fourier transform. So you can see that the problem with the sink pulse is, major lobe width is larger, side lobe decay is much smaller. So if I want to understand jittering problem, you can go through this. You can see that at the final answer we have a shifted value from main lobe peak. If I miss that exactly peak sample, I'll have another term which is which uncertainty is. The convergence of that term is uncertain. So effect of ISI can't be mitigated in this case. So there will be always a problem which is called a jitter. If I miss the sample, I'll be having other samples of the other pulses. So now let me come back to the solution of the third case where we have many choices possible. The better choice is let the sink pulse be there, but I can minimize the effect of the major lobe. Main lobe effect can be decreased and can be made thinner. And the side lobe of a sink can be decayed at a more faster rate. A sink side lobe decay is 1 by T, and it can be increased to say 1 by T square or 1 by T cube, so that it decays more faster. And algebraic tractability means it should have a Fourier transform. So this was the solution for the second case, where at the sampling instant ISI will go to 0. But if I have to take exactly at the peak of the signal, sample at the peak of the signal, if I miss that, I have a problem. So this, let it be there to minimize the to reduce the effect of major lobe of the sink. I use a cosine function which is cos of pi beta t by t. If I increase beta, say 1 to beta 0, 0.5, 0.75, 1. So beta is actually a Roloff factor. It varies from 0 to 1. And beta is equal to 0, you can see that cos 0 is 1. So you retain the sink pulse. So beta has to be increased more than 0 so that effect of ISI could be reduced by using another pulse, so that this sink will have a major lobe which is smaller than the existing sink. So sink multiplied by cos phi beta t by t will reduce the major lobe of the sink pulse, and denominator term 1 minus 4 beta square t square by t square, it will reduce the or it will decay the side lobes of the sink at a more faster rate. So this entire equation multiplied by the original sink will be called as raised cosine pulse. Now, raised cosine pulse is is having a beta which is greater than 1, greater than 0, 0.1, 0.2 till 1. And you can find out that beta is Roloff factor which is varying between 0 to 1. If beta is equal to 0, you'll get back this pulse. Remember why you have chosen a cosine, not sine. If you put a sine here and beta is equal to 0, it will kill the sink pulse. So x of t will become 0. So that's why you have chosen a cosine. And this equation you have chosen so that this term will give us the side lobe decay at a more faster rate. So beta is equal to 0 gets back to sink pulse, and bandwidth was W for sink pulse. And beta, when you say beta is equal to 1, the bandwidth will become twice. That means if you go to the graphical representation of this, we can see now here at beta is equal to 0, we had a sink, and at beta is equal to 1, the side lobe of the sink is decaying at a much faster rate. Beta is equal to 0.5, 1 means it will become a raised cosine pulse. Anything beta greater than 0 is a raised cosine. So beta 0.5 means side lobe decay is more faster. Beta is equal to 1, still faster. Main lobe has become more narrower. And in the frequency domain, if you consider, this is a sharp transition is there for rectangular pulse. And now we are going for a smoother transition. Beta is equal to 0.5, beta is equal to 1. When you go for smoother transition, slowly it will go to 0 instead of going to 0 exactly at 1 by 2t. So if you consider the bandwidth, now it will be 1 by t. Earlier it was 1 by 2t. Now it will be 1 by t. The bandwidth got increased. So remember, there is always a trade-off between this bandwidth as well as this Roloff factor. If Roloff factor increases, bandwidth also increases. So let us come back to our discussion. Beta is equal to 0, bandwidth was W. Now beta is equal to 1 means bandwidth will double, 2W. Now we can define this beta as excess bandwidth by Nyquist bandwidth. Nyquist bandwidth was 1 by 2T, which is equal to W, or you can write W is equal to 1 by 2T, or 1 by T is equal to 2W. Anything is fine. Total bandwidth now is Nyquist bandwidth plus excess bandwidth. Excess bandwidth is coming because of the Ray's cosine filter. So Nyquist bandwidth is W plus excess bandwidth from this is beta times Nyquist bandwidth. So beta times W. So excess bandwidth is Nyquist bandwidth into beta. So if you take common factors, 1 by W is 1 by 2T into 1 plus beta. If you put beta is equal to 0, you'll get back your W, which is 1 by 2T. If beta is equal to 1, then it will become 1 by T. So that is what you have seen here in this figure. Beta is equal to 0, you get 1 by 2T. Beta is equal to 1, you get 1 by T. So bandwidth is always positive set of frequencies. So this is 1 by 2T for beta is equal to 0. 1 by T for beta is equal to 1. The bandwidth literally got doubled. So let me go back to discussion. Yeah. So by going for Ray's cosine, the bandwidth literally got doubled. So now we can see that this is the effect what we have. And Ray's cosine pulse has got a Fourier transform. This is the definition of that Fourier transform. We will not go through. And remember this Ray's cosine now, again it has, this is X actually. If X was sync, we had problems. If X is Ray's cosine, then we have again three components: transmit shaping filter, channel, receive shaping filter. Channel we consider one for at least for the frequency what we are considering. We have GT, GR. If this has to be Ray's cosine, we can have another three conditions. That is, let the transmit shaping filter function is Ray's cosine, and let this GR of F is there's no shaping function. So if I multiply this 1 into XR of XRC, I'm going to get at X I'm going to get Ray's cosine. Okay. And if the transmit filter is say ideal, there is no transmit function, and GR of F is say Ray's cosine. So Ray's cosine into 1, it will be again Ray's cosine. So instead of these two choices, I can go for the third choice, where transmit shaping filter also, I at the transmit also I shape the function that is Ray's cosine, square root Ray's cosine. At the receiver, again I have another square root Ray's cosine. The square root Ray's cosine into square root Ray's cosine will give me Ray's cosine. The third condition is preferred because it's a matching condition. At the match filter, I can have GR of F. At the transmitter, I have GT of F. Both are matched now. Square root Ray's cosine and square root Ray's cosine will give me Ray's cosine. So that is what the advantages are about. And if I compute the bandwidth efficiency is defined as symbols per second per hertz. It is also called as spectral efficiency. Now it is defined as symbols per second means how many symbols per second you are transmitting per given hertz bandwidth. That is the actual bandwidth. So RS is symbols per second means 1 by T. For Ray's cosine, it is 1 by T. 1 by 2T for sync. Actual bandwidth is W into 1 plus beta. So if it is sync, RS is 1 by 2T. Actual bandwidth is W only. There is no extension in bandwidth. So 1 by 2T will get cancelled. So 1 symbol per second per hertz you will have. If it is, 2 symbols per second per hertz you will have. If it is sync, if it is not sync, it will reduce to less than 2 symbols per second per hertz. So RS is 1 by T, and here it is W into 1 plus beta actual bandwidth. 1 by T, so this is 1 by 2T, 1 plus beta. So this will cancel 2 by 1 plus beta. Beta is equal to 0, it is sync pulse, and it will be 2 symbols per second per hertz. If for Ray's cosine, since beta is greater than 0, put say beta is equal to 1, so it will be 1 symbol per second hertz you will get. So spectral efficiency will reduce. So we get advantages of Ray's cosine, but also limitation in terms of spectral efficiency. So there are again, this problem could be solved by going for duobinary as well as modified duobinary pulse, where we can maintain 2 symbols per second per hertz of spectral efficiency. But we need to, as I told, we need to allow the ISA in a controlled manner or the transmitter so that it can be mitigated at the receiver side in a acceptable manner. So that's called dual binary and modified binary. So is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any doubt is there at this point? You can ask. Hello.
No, sir.
Okay. Shall we continue?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So now you can see that we'll go for modified binary as well as dual binary. So x of nt is 1 for n is equal to 0 and 1. We allow ISI at one more instant at n is equal to 1. Now let the ISI be present at one more instant to the transmitter side so that it could be taken care of the receiver side. So 0 otherwise. Now we need to calculate Bn, Fourier series coefficient. Bn and x of t are related as Bn is equal to x of minus nt. So Bn is equal to x of minus nt means n is equal to 0 minus 1. It should be t. So we'll put n is equal to 0 and minus 1 so that it will become Bn is equal to t only and 0 otherwise. So B of f now become Bn e power j2 pi f nt. Now this entire equation, as we told, the summation is, we are considering the principal component. So only at m is equal to 0 it is there. So this is t at 0. At minus 1 it is minus e power j2 pi, n is minus 1. So I can write this B of f as m is equal to minus n by plus infinity x of f plus n by 2. Now if we are considering only principal component, this summation will not be there. So x of f is equal to t plus t. So I can take this into another form so that I can write it in terms of sine or cosine. So now t plus t per minus j to pi f n t, where t is 1 by 2 w, where it's a Nyquist bandwidth. I put this as 1 by 2 w, 1 plus e power minus j2 pi w, because t is 1 by 2 w, 2 will get cancelled, j pi f pi w, 0 otherwise. And it's e power minus j f by 2 w outside, so that I can write this as minus j2 pi w in the cosine form. So once we write this, we have 1 by w e power minus j pi f 2w cos of pi f by 2w, f less than equal to w, 0 otherwise. I take a Fourier inverse, then I get a, since this is a constant is there, the delay term is there, cos is there. So I should have a, this cos is a rectangular, gated cos. Gated cos means is restricted in frequency. So I'll have, if it's a gated cos, I'll get again a sinc function, rectangular multiplied by cos. I'll have sinc. You can see that sinc 2 pi wt, and the delay is also there. So that delay is 2 pi wt minus 1 by 2. So it's called as dual binary pulse. And I think dual binary pulse, we have, let me go to the figure of dual binary pulse. You have, yeah, let me share the screen. Yeah, so this is what is dual binary signal in time domain and frequency domain. You have, actually speaking, you have two signals. One is delayed version. This is the actual sync, and this is the delayed sync. So when you have these two effect, you have something like this effect of this. It's called dual binary pulse. And in time domain, if you so in frequency domain, if you take, it will be something like this. But this has got a problem. We solved the problem of raise cosine by going for dual binary pulse. That is specular efficiency. We don't want to decrease the specular efficiency. If you go for raise cosine from sync, specular efficiency decreases. Now in dual binary, we maintain specular efficiency as 2 symbols per second per hertz by allowing the ISI in a controlled manner at the transmit side, so that the receiver side, we can take care of the effect. Now the problem with dual binary pulse is it has got a DC component, a strong DC component is there at f is equal to 0. And if I have to sample this, I need to sample, this is actually plus W, this is minus W, there's an interchange happen. And now if I have to sample exactly, I have to sample at W by 2. If I sample at W by 2, I don't have maximum signal energy. Power of the signal is not maximum at this point. It is maximum at 0, but at 0, no information will be there. So that is the problem of dual binary pulse. It is having a DC component, and you can see that the high DC component is there. Smooth roll-off is possible, but timing is possible at 1/2W, not exactly at maximum power point. So that's why we go for another pulse, which is called modified D binary. Again, we allow the ISI at 2 instants now. At n is equal to 0, let the signal be 0. N is equal to -1 and n is equal to +1. We allow the ISI in a controlled manner. And Bn will become x of -nt. So this will become n is equal to 1 will become positive, and n is equal to -1 will become negative, because Bn is equal to x of -n. And the negative positive things are here. Now the same equation could be written in a summation form. Now Bn, I can put n is equal to 1, Bn, n is equal to -1, B of -1 is t now. T is present here. Actually, t is missing in this equation. I can take that t out, and x of this entire summation will be only 1, because m is equal to 0 is the principal component we are taking. All other components we are not considering right now. So t times this t is that t times e power j2 pi f t minus e power minus j2. So it will be t is 1/2w. I can write this as j by w. J by w, j by 2w. So 2 times j into 2w is there, because you have 2j sign, 2 get cancelled, j by w, sin pi f by w, f less than equal to w, 0 elsewhere. And I have again a delay is there, and we have a gated sign. So gated sign and delay is there. Gated sign means it's a sync again. So sync pulse, and it's j times w is multiplied. So delayed sinks are there in time domain. Both are delayed sinks. So sync of this minus sync of pi t minus t w. So if I go for this diagram representation of this, I have a better representation now. You can see if you go for a modified binary, the advantage I'm going to get is this is one delayed sync, another delayed sync in time domain. In frequency domain, if I go, I have gated pulses, something like this. Where it's like a sine pulses. So here you can see smooth transition is there, and also maximum power is available at W/2. Maximum power is available at W/2, and DC content is 0. So this is the advantage of going for modified binary pulses. So that completes this modified pulse, and all these things are like we have discussed all these things in numerical form. Numericals are discussed in of binary as well as modified binary, and there was a pre-coding also was taken care of. Pre-coding means you need to assume that the first bit has 1. Do the pre-coding, then you transmit, so that error propagation is avoided. I think those numericals are very simple numericals, where you can do the numericals in a simplified manner, as well as verification also very easy. So that way, numericals are easier than the concepts of whatever we discussed. Now, I think some student asked about the numericals of this ISI, inter-symbol interference. So let me discuss that. Okay. Is this? I think this numericals are discussed, right? Shall I discuss it once again, or is it okay?
So some third question I have a doubt, sir. That's
third question, huh? Here in this PDF.
Yes, not the second one also, sir.
Tell me.
I think the orthogonal, sir. Orthogonal for PSK. Sir, how do you convert it to like at the F question, sir? M equal to 8 FSK with non-coherent detection. You took it as 500 hertz, no, sir?
8 PSK. Last one. M is equal to 8 PSK. 8 FSK.
8 FSK. Sir, you took it as 500 hertz. Sir, how did you convert it into 500 hertz?
No, that depends on the spacing. See here, come to BFSK. BFSK, what is this is non-coherent detection. No, the minimum spacing is 1/t. And the two frequencies which are possible are FC plus 1/2t, FC minus 1/2t. And they had given W is equal to 4000 hertz. Okay. If W has to be 4000 hertz, then you have to select this is 1000. Okay. FC plus 1/2t, FC minus 1/2t. So this is 1 by 2t is 1000. So is this clear? So you can see this in this example. We are told determine the bit rate that can be transmitted through 4 kilohertz voice band telephone channel if the following modulations are used. Right now, these are clear. PSK are very simple. Now, binary orthogonal FSK with non-coherent detection. Non-coherent detection, the minimum spacing required is 1 by t. Okay. So if you have to make this delta f 1 by t, how that 1 by t has come is a difference in frequencies. That frequency is from the carrier frequency plus 1 by 2, 1 by 2t, fc minus 1 by 2. So this difference is 1 by t. So that is delta f. Now 1 by 2t, if you select it as 1000, then 1 by t will be 2000. So the bit rate is going to be 2000 bits per second. So based on this only we are going to select based on the criteria of non-coherent detection. If you go for 4FSK, again the spacing has to be maintained as 1 by t only between frequencies. If you look at f1, fc minus 1.5 by t. Look at f2. F2 is fc minus 1 by 2. 1 by 2t to 1.5 by t. What is the difference? Difference is still 1 by t only. F2 to f3 also 1 by t. F3 to f4 also 1 by t. Is this clear? See, the channel bandwidth is constant. You need to accommodate 4 signals, 2 signals, 8 signals. Channel bandwidth is constant. You can't change the channel bandwidth. In the given channel bandwidth, you have to put 4 frequencies now, f1, f2, f3, f4. How do you put 4 frequencies in the channel bandwidth of W?
Divided by 4.
Divided by 4, that is 1000, no? But 1000 is again what? It is by 2, right? W by 2 here it is. So 500 into twice. See, twice means the channel bandwidth when it is say 4 kilohertz, you need to have at least less than that, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So W by 2, this is actually W by 2. Okay, then so that is W, 2 times W by 2 is W actually. W is 4000 hertz. But that's what they have given. Now, since 1 by 2t is 500 hertz, obviously 1 by 2 will become 1000 hertz. Okay. Now 1000 hertz plus 1000 hertz plus 1000 hertz plus 1000 hertz. 4 signals. No. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now for 8 signals, 8 into 500. 4 kilohertz. Is this clear?
Okay,
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, is bandwidth 1 by 2t or 1 by t, sir? It's 1 by 2t, no, sir, bandwidth.
1 by 2t is for Nyquist.
Symbol rate is 1 by t.
Symbol rate is 1 by t. Nyquist criteria is bandwidth. That is W is 1 by 2t. Nyquist criteria we had, no? 0
Yes,
ISI Nyquist criteria. Where the bandwidth was 1 by 2t for sync pulse. For raised cosine it became 1 by t.
That's when beta is equal to 1, no, sir, raised cosine.
Beta is equal to 1
Becomes
only, it is 1 by t. Beta is equal to 0, 1 by 2t only.
So then, in this, for the first 3 cases, we are converting that band pass to band limited, then we are taking. But why
they
for
have told you,
orthogonal
FSK? Look at this, they have told in the question only. For A to C, assume the transmitter pulse shape has a raised cosine spectrum with a 50% roll off. They have given.
Yes, sir. Like, no, I am asking, like, sir, why are we converting it to here band limited, like from 4K to -2 to 2K, and not considering the same thing for the other 3 cases, orthogonal FSK cases?
No, other 3 cases, see, in FSK case, it's a power limited kind of modulation, no? And non-coherent detection. In non-coherent detection, the minimum spacing, the criteria is minimum spacing has to be 1 by t. You don't have to consider this raised cosine, root raised cosine, all those things. The minimum criteria says to maintain the orthogonality between FSK symbols, the minimum spacing has to be 1 by t. No matter whether you use beta is equal to 0, beta is equal to 1, doesn't matter. You have to maintain 1 by t, that's all. But in PSK case and QAM case, you can choose beta 0, 0.1, 0.2, 1, you have to choose.
No, sir, not with respect to beta. Like I'm asking here, we have made W is equal to 2000. No, sir. We transmitted from band pass to band limited. But for the other three cases, we have taken whatever given, like W is equal to 4000 itself. Not taken that band limited thing, 2000 hertz.
No, here also, no. Here also it is 4000 hertz only. In all the cases, it's 4000 hertz only. But here, in the first three cases, we had some beta considerations. So we have to, based on beta, you need to determine what is the new symbol rate. In the last three cases, the minimum spacing is 1/t. Based on that, we have to determine what is the symbol rate. See here, in binary PAM case, beta is equal to 1/2. Correct? So what is the equation of the symbol rate and bandwidth? It is 1/2t, 1 plus beta. Oh, you're asking about this 2000, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It should be 4000. Why is it 2000?
Like in the other three cases,
Look
we
at
have
the
taken
equation.
4000.
No, look at the equation. Equation is 1/t times 1 plus beta into 2w only is there. Actually, it is 4000 only. This 1/2t, no? See, what is 1/2t? Look at the equation. Let me come back to the equation. Let me come to the equation of this. Yeah. So total bandwidth is 1/2t into 1 plus beta, no?
Yes, sir.
Total bandwidth is 1/2t into 1 plus beta. So now,
Yes, sir.
so this is for raised cosine when beta is considered. When beta is equal to that, it will become simples. Otherwise, this is for the entire equation. Now, if you go to the figure, okay, it will be beat w by 2 now, because they have taken in this cases minus w by 2 to plus w by 2. That's why the total bandwidth is 2 times w by 2.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Is this clear? In the figure, I understood your doubt. In the figure, and they are considering, they have taken from minus w by 2 to plus w by 2. So that's why it is 2 times w by 2. It is actual bandwidth. Okay. So it is 1/2t. And also you can see that the bandwidth is only positive set of frequencies. Okay, is this clear? But when you consider here, in all the other cases like orthogonal FSK with non-Coulomb detection, they have taken the entire bandwidth, because FSK is power limited modulation scheme, no?
Yes, sir.
Power
Yes,
limited modulation scheme means what? You can't increase the power, but you have to utilize the entire bandwidth available.
yes, sir.
Understood. In FSK,
Yes.
we are considering exactly 4 kilohertz, but in PSK QAM case, we have considered low pass signal equivalent, so that it is existing from minus 2000 to plus 2000. We have considered only 2000 positive set of frequencies. In all other cases, like FSK case, we have considered 4000 as it is, because it's a power limited model scheme. We would like to utilize the entire bandwidth available. That is the reason.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other doubt?
Sir, also third question, B, sir.
Yes.
Sir, the bit rate is 4800 and 8 QAM signal, no? So it should be, the symbol rate should be divided by 3. No, sir?
Where third question, huh?
Third question, B part.
Second part. B part, yeah. Okay. Third question, B part means they're told repeat for a bit rate of 4800 bits per second and a 8 QAM. So R is 4800. This is a symbol rate, no?
Symbol rate must be divided by how many bits are there in a symbol, then it should be 3, no, sir, because it's 8 QAM.
1 second, let me come back. Band to the band pass channel, R is equal to 1/t.
Here it's 1/2 because it's 4 PSK, so we'll divide it by 2.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, 1 second. Let me 1 second. 800 bits and 8 QAM signal. Yeah. There is a mistake. Correct. You're right. I think it is.
So then, okay, sir. Then after that,
yeah.
How did you take that roll-off factor as 0 for QAM and roll-off factor 1 for the above question, sir?
In order to satisfy the Nyquist criteria, a signal pulse used for speculating should have roll-up factor beta is equal to the corresponding spectrum. So here, see in this case, first case, QPSK, no? System for transmitting data rate of 2400 bits per second. Carrier frequency is this. Spectral shaping, use a Ray's cosine. They have told user a spectral Ray's cosine filter and sketch the block diagram, something like that. No. So here they have not told any criteria. They have not told any criteria. So
repeat A,
just
so
repeat
it
it.
means
Repeat of only till the one point. Otherwise, I understood you. So it's only repetition of this. So otherwise, you need to consider this beta is equal to whatever.
So it will be clearly given
out,
that
no?
it is beta. So in the question, it will be clearly given if it is raised cosine or not.
Yes. It will be given. It will be given in the question.
I understand. Sir, that is 4,800 by 2 only, because first they've asked do it for QPSK and then they've asked do it for 8-com. In the question, if you see, they've asked repeat it for A and then do it for 8-com. The 8-com is not mentioned there. So that is 4,000.
No. I understood. I understood your question again. See, this part is 4,800 by 2, whatever is there. No, for QAM, it should be by 3. Only for QAM, 8-com.
Yes, sir, but first they've asked repeat it for A with a bit rate of 4,800. So for
if it is QPSK, understood. If it's QPSK, it will be by 2. If it is 8-com, it will be by 3. That's all.
Oh, okay.
In the question, I understood the question. Repeat A for this, then do it for QAM. But the answer is not there for QAM. That's why that confusion has come. So remember that it is only by 3 or by 2, depends upon how many bits you have now per symbol. That way you should.
Sir, is beta can be chosen by us?
Beta, in this example, this is a textbook example. So beta, actually, they will give, if it is raised cosine, what is beta they will give. If it is sync, they won't give beta. Beta will be 0.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any other doubt, clarification?
So mod f, how did we, so for the first question, it's mod f is less than 1 by t, we got it 1,200. So for the second question, how did we choose it as again 1,200, sir?
Bandwidth of 4 kilohertz. In low pass domain, it will be 2 kilohertz. And data rate is 9,600 bits per second. So we need to calculate what is the value for symbol rate. So this is bits per second. Now we need to find out for symbols per second. So basically R is equal to, so whatever data rate 9,600 bits per second they have given. How many bits in 8-com? There will be 3 bits in 8-com. So when I consider the symbol rate, it will be 3,000 symbols per second. So instead of 9,600 bits per second, the symbol rate will be 3,200 bits per second because 8-com. 8-com means it will be why it is 8-com is we are selecting. Remember, they have told you need to have a roll-off factor which is at least 50%, and it should be QAM. QAM means it can't be 4-com. Remember, 4-com is for QPSK and 4-com, 4 QPSK, they are same. 4 PSK and 4-com, they are same. So at least you should choose 8-com. Let us see whether we get this 50% roll-off. If we don't get, we have to choose higher QAM. So let us choose 8-com. If K is be equal to 3. So that symbol rate R is 9,600 bits per second divided by number of bits. So 3,200 symbols per second, raise cosine. The total bandwidth is going to be 1 by 2t, 1 plus beta. So beta we have to find out. Total bandwidth we know 2 kilohertz. 2 kilohertz means 2000 hertz. 1 by 2t. 1 by 2t means 1 by t we know, which is 3,200 by 2 into 1 plus beta. So beta will be 0.25. Now 0.25 is less than whatever they have mentioned. That's why you have to be careful. You should go for higher order QAM constellation. So let us go for 16 QAM. So bits will be 4. So 9,600 divided by 4 is 2,400. And 2,400 again, you have to repeat the calculation so that beta will be greater than 0.5. That's what they mentioned. So this is the first part. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So going ahead, you can see that we need to find out the probability of error. In the question, they were told use the not probability of error. Design a QAM modulation. Determine the average power that achieves a bit per property of 10 to the power minus 6. They have given probability of error. We need to find out the average power as well as energy. So probability of error in MQAM, I think we have revised this in last class. We know what is the equation. 2 into 1 minus 1 by square root of m FC of 3 into symbol average m minus 1 into n naught. So m is equal to 16 coulomb because 16 coulomb only gave us this beta, which is satisfying. So let us put m in our case. If you put m, we get in terms of E symbol average. Symbol average energy will get. You have to simplify. As I told the equation, please use this equation for RFC and convey to your friends also. RFC approximation is exponential minus x squared divided by root pi. Every time you have to use this. And they have given this probability for a 10 to the power minus 6. We simplify. This simplification is much easier. I have done it. And this entire equation will give us E symbol average as 1.364 in 10 to the power minus 8. Now signal average energy is power into time. We get T as 1 by 2400, right? I think we had that here. We had somewhere here T as.
We get R is equal to 2400, sir. If you divide it, we'll get 2400.
Yeah. So this one, right? So R is there, 2400. So that we substitute here. Okay. Then we get power average. Power average is now 2.27 10 to the power minus 5. Now we need to find out. I think this is what they have asked, but we need to also find out what is the D, the minimum spacing between the two symbols in palm using power average. So if it's a 16 coulomb, that means 16 points will be there in the constellation. So you can see that there are the distance, the minimum distance between them is equal to D. There are 16 points now. When the minimum distance is D, then there are 4 points with coordinates. Say in the first coordinate you have plus D by 2, plus D by 2, minus D by 2, minus D by 2. 4 points, inner points. Then 4 points with the coordinate 3D by 2 to 3D by 2, plus or minus 3D by 2, plus or minus. And 8 more points in the outer circle you have 3D by 2, plus or minus D. It's like XY coordinate system. Now we need to find out the average transmitted power, which is given by 1 by 2 into 16. 16 is basically 1 by 2 has come because AMC, AMS. AM is amplitude of cosine. AMS means amplitude of sine. Square. We are finding out power with RMS square of the voltages. RMS is basically, if it's a V is there, VRMS is V by root 2. So V by root 2 square, right? So root 2 square has become 1 by 2. 1 by root 2. The squares when you take, it has become 1 by 2. So AM square, AMS square. Then just like VRMS square, voltages of VRMS, both sine and cosine. I is equal to 1 to 16. That's why it has 16. Probability of occurrence of each symbol is 16. P average is 1 by 32. The 4 points are distance of D by 2 square. 4 points are the distance of 3D by 2. So it will be 3 square, 9D square by 2. And 8 points are distance of 3D by 2 to this. So this will be distance, Euclidean distance between these 2 points is 10. So 10D square by 4, 10D by 2, 10D square by 4. It will be 4 by 4D square. So D will be square root of this into this. If we do this, we'll get 5.11 into the power minus. That is the minimum distance between the 2 points, any 2 points in a 16 coulomb constellation. So is this clear?
So why are we taking RMS?
Power is basically RMS power now. How do you measure voltage in lab using voltmeter? No.
Yes, sir.
So voltmeter will always show RMS value. It won't show peak value. If you want peak value, you have to go to CRO.
Okay, sir.
In analog lab, no, you have voltmeter, ammeter, no. So voltmeter and ammeter are designed to measure RMS value only. They won't measure peak. If you want a peak value, then you would go to CRO. CRO will give us a peak value or mean value. So any ammeter or voltmeter are designed to measure RMS value. So RMS power only will be measured in practice. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other doubts, clarifications required? You can ask. So
can you tell me, sir, while finding the pessimistic error in the second unit?
Yes.
So while in the class you told us to directly take the adjacent neighbors for pessimistic. Like if it is 8 coulomb,
no. Wait. That is for optimistic. No, only immediate neighbors are optimistic.
Not sir,
Pessimistic
not
is
immediate neighbors. I'm talking about pessimistic. No, sir. Like if there are 8 QAM, then 7 neighbors are there. Pessimistic.
yes.
So multiply 8 into 7. So we'll get 56 some RFC A by 2 root 10 not. So but
Yes.
somewhere in the question paper somewhere it was like m minus 1 by 2 RFC of A by 2 root 10 not. So
yeah,
which
it is m minus 1. No, m minus 1 by 2 RFC of that entire equation is there.
Yeah. After the derivation we got that, but
that's for one symbol. That's for one symbol. If you have m symbols, m into m minus 1.
Yes, sir. I got that part, but it will be half of it, sir. We'll get
You are talking
28
about 1 by 2. Whether it is 1 by 2 is there or not.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. I got your question.
Because that varies the numerical.
Yeah. I got your answer. Got your question. So it is, you can take it as m into m minus 1, RFC of whatever argument comes. M into m minus 1 directly.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
If it is for pessimistic. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So half is not there.
Yeah, half is not there.
Okay.
Because
So,
remember that half, it will modify the final answer, but it doesn't do anything with the probability of error, because RFC is there now. RFC is there. That RFC argument only important for us. Signal to noise ratio. This half is only outside scaling factor. No? As far as the examination is concerned, I agree. Okay. So 1 by 2 you can take it off. Only write m into m minus 1 into RFC of that argument, whatever is.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
is it clear? And also this eye diagram, I think you can see this eye diagram. You need to know what is the slope indicates, vertical axis, horizontal axis. I think all those things are covered. But I have mailed all these details to you earlier only. The opening of the eye means time over which we can sample the waveform. Exactly. If eye is wide open, then this duration, whatever is there, opening of the eye, where you can sample the waveform. Best time to sample is exact at the center. And this slope, whatever is there, is going to indicate the sensitivity of the timing error. And this part, whatever is there, it is amount of distortion at the zero crossings, and signal excursion or wasted power is shown in the peak. And so this gap, the vertical line, this here, is going to indicate the amount of noise that can be tolerated by the signal. The horizontal one is amount of distortion with zero crossing, and the slope, all those things should be known to you. Okay. Otherwise, it is, I think, we are done. Any other doubts, clarifications?
Sir, one doubt, sir. Sir, finding the probability of error in unipolar NRZ, sir, I had a doubt in that.
Yeah. Tell me.
Sir, actually, in the PDF which you have sent, actually 2 root 2 sigma actually is coming in the ERFC terms, sir.
No, actually, you always go for n naught. Sigma square is n naught by 2. No, if you use that equation, if you go for polar, it will be 1 by 2 RFC of square root of EB by n naught is there. Unipolar, if you go, it will be EB by 2 n naught.
Yeah, so that time actually in square root E symbol average will come, no, sir. From polar, if you have to derive.
No. The E symbol average, we should be careful, because I think, let me open that notes. 1 second, just let me open that. Yeah. So in this case, right, you are asking about polar, huh?
Yes, sir. So for polar, it's clear, sir. So from polar, if we have to derive for unipolar.
Yeah, I'll tell you 1 second. So here you have, right, 1 by 2 RFC ES by n naught.
Yeah.
Correct, ma? Are you seeing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What is your doubt now?
So now that in turn can be written as half into ERFC of E symbol average by n naught, right, sir?
Yeah. Why? Because E symbol average is occurrence of one symbol into energy of that symbol plus probability of occurrence of second symbol, energy of that symbol. So probability of
Right.
occurrence of this is two signals. Then the energy are same because it's polar signal. Energies are same. So you'll get 2i 1 by 2 RFC. Sigma naught is what? N naught by 2. No, sigma square, sigma naught actually. Sigma naught means square root of N naught by 2. Correct? Square
sir,
root of
yes.
N naught by 2, root 2 will cancel. Okay. N naught is there. A square T is ES. ES by 2 N naught will come. That's all. 2 N naught. Instead of N naught here in polar you have N naught, right? ES by N naught. There it is square root of ES by 2 N naught. That's all. You understood?
Sir, actually, in E symbol average will become half, no, sir, in unipolar case.
Correct. Right now we are writing in terms of E symbol. If it is E symbol average, then it is in unipolar, it is 1 by 2 ES.
So it will be half of the symbol energy.
Yes, correct.
Energy.
You're right.
So
Depending
one more.
on symbol average only, you should find out. It depends upon case, unipolar, polar, whatever. That's why probability of unipolar is less than probability of, if you consider polar and unipolar, probability of error in polar is less than probability of error in unipolar. That is the reason.
Fine, sir.
Tell me, any other doubt? Any other doubt for anybody? Hello?
No, sir.
Yeah. So then shall we end the class?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I think this is day after tomorrow, Wednesday, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Prepare well. If you have any doubts, again, you can contact me through WhatsApp or email. Okay. I'll be able to clear any doubts are there. But prepare well, and it will be, because it's a open book kind of this thing. Okay. So some questions will be little, thinking point, like first quiz only. Thinking point will be there, as well as direct, you can answer some questions directly. Some questions you have to think and answer, but you can refer any textbooks. If you have Simon Akin or any other textbook, you can refer and you can do it. Okay. But don't copy among yourselves. Okay. Through WhatsApp, one person is telling the answer. That kind of thing should not be there. And also questions will come randomly only. So whatever questions you have got, your friend would not have got those questions. So it's all like, and from 100 questions, it will be selecting. Okay. So it's highly, so unlikely that you and your friend getting the same questions. Okay. So prepare well and all the best for your quiz. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for attending.